Okay, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about teaching music to children, elementary children, preschool children, through the use of the human voice. Something that's very important in teaching music, and obviously we do this mostly through singing, but we can use other methods in teaching children about using their voices also. I first want to talk about probably the most important aspect of this, which is using simple songs, folk songs. And again, this is kind of part of the ORF and especially the Kodály method, teaching simple songs to children. And I hope as we go into our next semester in Music 261 that you'll start using some of this to implementing this in your classes, even if you're not a music teacher, because using music to promote transitions and just learning different topics and things is so important. But for them to use, or for them to learn things the best, it's easiest for them to learn by doing and not just hearing. So don't just turn on a recording and have them listen to it. Turn on a recording and have them sing with it. And of course it might take a few times through before they start to learn it and get the words down and the tune down, but that's okay. Repetition is good in all areas of education. So I first want to talk a little bit about folk songs, and we have lots of folk songs in our musical tradition here. If you think about the nursery rhymes and even just the simple songs, Mary Had a Little Lamb, Three Blind Mice, things like that, most children learn those. And even after many years of me teaching, I'm amazed how our children still learn those songs, whether it be at school, whether it be off television, whether it be on the computer, however they learn them. It's pretty amazing, because I think a lot of parents don't sing to their children as much today as they used to, but they're still learning those songs, and if they don't learn them, I guess it's our job to teach them. So hopefully you will take that responsibility and teach some songs to your children in your classes. And obviously you're going to need some recordings, but these songs are everywhere. I mean, you can go to the library and check out CDs that have just scads and scads of songs. Disney's put out a bunch of folk songs, and there's a whole bunch of other albums, CD collections that have just children's songs with children singing, which is a great thing, because one of the problems we have as teachers, and especially me as a man, I'm singing lower than they would be singing, and so for them to be able to hear other children singing the pitches that they're supposed to be singing is very valuable. And even, sometimes you as a teacher, you might not have the best voice, so that's why it's good to use recordings and allow children to hear other children sing. So I would go check things out. If you want to download those and put those on your iPod or iPhone or whatever you've got and use them in your classroom setting, please do. And children love to sing. I think usually the problem we have with singing is us as adults are a little self-conscious of our own voices, our own abilities, and so sometimes we don't sing in the classroom because of us. It's not usually because the children don't want to or don't think they can, because most children are willing to sing. And they go to music classes and they sing a lot in music classes. In fact, in most elementary schools, that is the emphasis. They sing most of the time. There's very little instrumental playing and very little learning of musical terms and things. It's mostly just singing, preparing for the holiday concert, preparing for the end of year concert, and that's about all the teachers do these days, which is kind of sad. There are good teachers out there that are trying to teach the basics of music, but mostly we're just seeing a lot of singing. So that's why this is so important. We're going to start off at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. So we're going to learn the solfege syllables. Solfege is a fancy word for just basically syllables. So we've put one of these syllables with each pitch of the scale, and most of you have obviously heard these before. So what we're going to do is I'm going to plunk a note here on the piano, and we're going to sing along, just slowly go up this scale, and I want you to sing with me. Because you've got to practice this. You've got to practice using your voice, and there is an assignment. One of your assignments is to record a video of yourself singing the scale up and down. I want to hear you, and I also want you to use the hand signs that I'll show you here in a minute. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to play a C on the piano. There's our starting note. That's where you'll sing, and I'm down here. Okay, so let's try it. Ready, go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. And I couldn't fit do, but we got on the end here. Do for our last pitch of our scale. Okay? Let's try that again all together. Now you can go ahead and breathe whenever you need to. I probably sing longer notes than you're used to singing. This syllable right here, sol, we spell it S-O-L, but most of the time we just forget about the L, and it's kind of just attached to that next one that's just la. So just say so, that's fine, but just be aware that it is commonly referred to as sol, even though we usually sing it as so. All right, let's try it again. Let's plunk our piano note again. Ready, sing. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And if I wanted to keep going up, I could. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And so on. Can't sing that high. All right, so there's our scale, and all music is based on that. Now you'll notice in Blackboard I've also posted some of the chromatics. As you can probably see, this is just 7 pitches. If we put the other do on the end, we have our 8. That's not all the notes on the piano. This is just the white notes on the piano. And so in between those we have some black notes right here. And so if I want to get really technical, I can actually put those in between. Do, di, re, mi. And then right here there's not a black note in between these, so that's just a half step. But you notice that there's other notes in here, and depending on whether we're going up the scale or down the scale, we have different syllables to go with those. So I'm not going to do a lot with that, but if you get into some pretty technical music, you're going to have to use those. Those are an important part of that. So I would say start now with the simple, what we call a diatonic scale or a white note scale, and just use do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And if you get into advanced music teaching or higher grades, you're probably going to have to use some of this a little bit to teach the students some of the sharps and flats, or the black notes on the piano. All right, let's sing through it one more time, and then I'm going to talk about the hand signs that go with these. So let's try it again. Let me plunk the note on the piano, make sure we're on the right key. Ready, sing. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Let's start at the top and come back down. Here's your pitch. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Okay? Now, each one of these is obviously now attached to a pitch. If I were to write the pitches that we've been singing underneath these, it would just go from C to C. And I'll go ahead and put that last do up there. So if you want to, we can sing it this way: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. But the challenge is, this set of syllables is meant for what we call a movable do system. If you were to go to South America or some of the countries in Europe, C, what pitch we call C in America, is do in those countries. And they don't use letter names at all. And so they have what we call a fixed do, because do is always C. And D is always C sharp. And re is always D. And so that's kind of confusing to them, because if you start moving the do to a different letter name or different pitch, then that throws off their system. But our system works pretty well, and I'm glad we use the letter system instead of the syllable system, because I think it's a little bit trickier, especially for young children. But basically what I can do is I can change this letter right here that I'm starting do on, and I could say I'm going to make this a G. And now all of a sudden all the rest of the syllables are changing to something else. So I'm going to go up the scale here, B, C, D, E, and I know that in the key of G we have to have an F sharp right here, and then we're back on G. So I've now all of a sudden moved my scale, and I can start on a different pitch, and I can go do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And now I've created a different scale, but I'm still using the same syllables. So that's what a movable do system means. And the nice thing about this is you can take any folk song, Mary Had a Little Lamb, or whatever you want to sing, and you can start on any pitch. You don't have to have a piano and say, oh, I've got to be on E to start that song. Doesn't matter. Just start singing and make sure you know what syllable you're supposed to use. That's the big thing, is you got to know what syllable the song starts on. But other than that, it doesn't matter. You can start anywhere. So it's a nice system that was developed by Kodály for this purpose. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the use of these syllables, but I want to introduce you to the hand symbols first. And I wish I had a poster or something of these, but I don't. But they are online, and so you can reference those if you want to. But let's go ahead and start talking about the hand symbols that go with this. But I'm going to have to make a new video of this, so we'll go ahead and stop right here.